I am giving my reaction and my thoughts to some of these recent data mines, and I am checking out some of the teams that you guys requested me to check out on the test server. Let's go.
Valley Fire.
Hey, what's up all you Valley Maniacs? Valley Fine here. I am back, and yes, today I'm taking a look at some of these data mines. I'm giving my reactions to some of these changes, and we are going to play with some of these teams that you guys wanted me to play with on the test server to test it out. That is what's coming up. Before we get to that, I am still playing on BlueStacks. A lot of great merch on the TeePublic site. There are links in the description down below. Make sure you guys check that out. I'm a little more intense than usual today as well, so I'm still feeling the effects of my pre-workout. Normally I work out after I do any recordings, but today, just because of time-wise, I am intense because of that. So I apologize if you guys don't like that, and if you guys do like that, then I might start doing that just because of time. All right, so let's get into this data mine. So this happened last Saturday, actually. This is Groot going to Nexus 2.9, Wasp going to Villains 4.9, Rocket going to the Arena Store. This has already changed. And then Hand Assassin removed from Villains 5.6. So we had an in-game message that Gamora was being removed from Nexus 2.9. The data mine suggests that Groot is going to that stage. Now, I do want to warn you guys that this is a data mine, and anything from a data mine is subject to change. We've already seen this Rocket thing change to the Raid Store. But Groot coming, I think that is a good thing. The word on the street is that he is scheduled for a upgrade, just because he's very mediocre as far as a character. Wasp going to this stage. Let's see what happens with that. All right, Loki. This was earlier this week, coming to the premium orbs, and if you guys was on the live stream last night, you know that I'm saving my premium orbs. I just have one right now, but I'm saving that just in case this happens to be true. And then there is a blitz coming, October 4th, 5 p.m. There was also this message that there was a blitz coming on the September 20th, so next Thursday, although I have not seen any other substantiation of this claim. This may or may not happen. We will have to see. All right, here are some dates. Relic Hunter coming to September 19th. Iron Man coming back September 24th. Block Party. Now, this is the City Hero event where you could earn a ton of ability materials. Now, I saw this on the test server. I saw what the rewards were. It is not there anymore. So I do not know if what I've seen has changed or if that is still what it is. So I don't have any information because what I saw on the test server may or may not be happening. Payday event coming October 3rd, which is good. It looks like it's coming back in sooner than 1 month time frame. So it looks like we're getting these a little sooner than 1 month. I like that. And Chasing Fury event October 8th. All right, so I already talked about this briefly, but basically it gives you some orbs. Now, I don't know if this is a huge reward from what I've seen, but again, this could be different than what I've seen on the test server because it's not on the test server anymore. Now, this was a change that I was already talking about. Rocket Raccoon now available in the Raid Store. Again, this is a data mine. This could totally change, but I am glad this happened. It says 500 Raid credits. So I'm not sure if that is a misprint from the Blitz Store or if they are changing the cost that things will be on the Raid Store. I think if they do that, that would be very good. Let me jump. This is from the MSF community channel on Discord. I'll put a link to that, and as well as Casino's channel as well. And there's a link to mine as well if you guys want to talk. But one thing, this is from Casino's channel as far as the maintenance coming for the update. Now, when they did this update, the past update for the Storm event, they said that the big update was coming later in the month. 9:25, 11 a.m. is later in the month, and they suggested that this would be big. So I am guessing that this is when we'll get our rework of the Defenders as well as Punisher. This is when we will get maybe some new characters, if any. But that Loki Blitz, I'm thinking that will happen on the 3rd. Hopefully it would have happened before that. Let's go to Reddit, though. This is kind of the timeline that is there. So some of these things have happened already. Now, tomorrow, there was an in-game message that there was a special event coming tomorrow. The Datamines said that this was a double energy refresh. So instead of getting 120 every time you spend those cores, you're going to get 240 during that time frame that the event is scheduled. And if you look at your in-game mail, it suggests the same exact thing because the logos there are all about energy. There's a hand double drop, shield double drop. I'm actually looking forward to this because I'm farming shield right now. Hand event coming back for the relics. Groot. The 21st is what was listed in the in-game message that Gamora would be removed. Now, the in-game message did not suggest Groot, but the Datamine did. So we will see what happens there. We got City double drop happening next week as well to prepare for this City Hero event. And this Loki Blitz may or may not happen. I've seen it in one place. I have not seen it corroborated by any other sources, so I am not sure. This was already crossed out on Reddit just because not a lot of corroboration by other sources. Iron Man event coming September 24th, only lasting for 3 days. The Thanos raid is ending and on the 25th of September, so something new may or may not be happening. Possibly something for Venom because his movie is coming out at the beginning of October. So the update dropping and the Venom movie coming out in about a week or so. Something for Venom is what I'm predicting is happening at around this time, around the 25th. Block Party, that is when this big city event happens. For the ability materials, I do not know what is happening with that because like I said, it was removed from the test server. Mercenary double drop, someone coming in place of Hand Assassin on Villains 5-6. Another payday event that we talked about earlier, Loki Blitz. This one does have a date and has a few people that Datamine that saw this as well. Of course, I do want to remind you guys again, Loki Blitz is in a Datamine, and anything in a Datamine is always subject to change. And then Wasp taking Crossbones place in Villains 4-9. And then we got the Fury event coming. So I'll put a link to all this stuff in the description down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of this schedule. I'm kind of liking it, but I think the thing that's not listed here is Venom coming around this time. All right, so before I get into the footage from the test server, let's take a look at the changes to Loki. This was just something that happened. I don't think it was announced. I don't know if it was in any data mines that happened before, but the big thing, he got nerfed. 2 of his skills got nerfed, and 1 got a buff. So I think overall he is not as good of a character as he was before. Still a good character, but not meta-changing and not a direct counter to the shield. So, all right, beginning of the match. Used to start with 100% turn meter. Now he starts with 15. This means that he's not getting turn 1 no matter what. He's not going before Korath. He's not going before Black Widow, and I haven't looked at the numbers, but I don't think that he's going before a lot of the shield characters when you pair them with Nick Fury, because I think they start with speed up. So, big change right there. He also gave Mystic controllers 10%, 50% speed. Now he gives them 10% of the speed bar, which equals 100 on the speed bar instead of 500. So, big reduction there. This just bumps him down from meta changing to good. His ultimate got a little better. So instead of starting with 3 energy, starts with 4 energy. Good skill. You could use this on 2nd turn instead of his 3rd turn. Now this is an interesting skill. On level 4, he's applying stealth to all enemies except for the mirror images, and these mirror images start with evade. So that's pretty much 2 attacks wasted by the opposing team. Good stuff. It's similar to Hand Sentry there. And then he's gonna apply stealth to all enemies except for mirror images for 2 turns instead of 1. And this is at level 7. So that is when the level cap will be raised. I hear it is coming soon, maybe as early as next week. I haven't seen too much confirmation about that. I think that is from Casino's conversation with some of the devs. Now, this special got a little bit of a nerf as well. all of his attacks for this mind control are doing a little less damage. Now, this was huge when you paired this with him going first, and then you paired this with a huge damage ability that he could use on turn 1, potentially taking out a big threat before anybody even has a turn. Doesn't do that anymore. So I think overall this is a huge nerf to him. It doesn't make him a bad character by any means, but just not a huge meta character. Let's go take a look at the test server footage. All right, so here we are looking at footage from the test server with the teams that you guys requested. I know I said I'll do 3, but I've actually got way more footage than that. We're gonna look at these teams in a few battles. Now, the one thing that's going on with the test server right now, and I know a lot of people that play on the test server on Android are not able to access that. I am on iPhone, but what is happening, all I can really play at this time is the raids and the campaigns. During the recording of this, I actually got up to rank 1 in the arena, so I can't really test against anybody because there's no one to fight once you're up at rank 1. I don't think there's a lot of people playing on the test servers, so I'm hoping I drop. I actually sent a request in to see if they could drop me manually down so I could build up again, but there's not a lot of good teams on defense that I could actually play against. So hopefully that is something that they can switch around so I could test some footage in arena. And there's no blitz going on right now in the test server, so I can't test any of these teams that you guys want in blitz. So if you guys want me to test some teams for their viability in raids or campaigns, let me know. I will probably be doing more of this just because right now there's some issues going on with the Android, but I play on iPhone and it's working for me. There's just not a lot of modes other than the raids. So let's start this footage right here. Now, I said I would do about 3. Now, let's take a look at this team. Crossbones, Star-Lord, Vision, Black Widow, and Rocket. Now, this is an interesting team. You have a bunch of damage dealers. I'm not sure if I have them placed totally ideal, but this is actually a good team. This is actually in the raids, the Thanos raids right now. And you'll see the footage. This team kind of mops up pretty quick. I think most of the requests, though, were to test out in arena and blitz, but I got footage from the rage because just that's how it is. I got 2 battles in the arena though, but if you look at this team is doing pretty well, just doing a lot of damage, and these early nodes in Thanos are pretty easy. I'm actually, in my main account, I'm actually autoing some of these early nodes, so it's kind of a blowout with this team. There's no healer on this team. There's not a lot of protection on this team. This team is just relying on its damage right now. Probably works a lot better in arena or blitz, but as far as long-term viability in the raids, there's just no healing. There's nothing to give them advantage. And Crossbones is not a huge raid character because, you know, when he does his big move, he damages himself, as you might see here. I'm trying to figure out which move to do, if I should do the big move, and I choose not to do it to save it just because I think there's a lot of enemies left, and I don't want to blow the wad too early with Crossbones, especially because he's going to lose some health with it. And the rest of these teams, especially Rocket right now, Star-Lord giving Rocket a lot of energy and just blowing through these guys. I think the raids are kind of a hard place to test because those early nodes are way too easy, and then some of these boss nodes are a little too hard to really test out the viability of this. As you'll see later when I get to the Thanos boss, some of these teams that are actually pretty good just get wiped the floor with. But yeah, and some of these earlier nodes are just a little too easy. So I'm hoping they are able to make some switches and I could test more teams in arena and test more teams in blitz. Yeah, but this team is working very well. I like how this team works. Got some big damage here from Rocket. You got some control here from Vision, who could remove buffs, so you could lock down some abilities for characters. Crossbones just got some big damage. Star-Lord does a bunch of different things. He's got that blind, he's got that big damage, and Black Widow, obviously speed up helps everybody, plus she has a stun, and just a very good character. This is a good team. I like this team. I would give this team a thumbs up. But as far as the raids, I don't know if they're the best team for the raids, just because of that viability that I talked about. No healer, no real protection, and as you'll see, they just kind of fiddle out because I'm not healing them. But you guys will see the footage. I mean, this is I probably could auto all this stage and they'll be fine for these first few nodes, just because it's a little weird. All right, so we keep going on, and as you can see, no healing, no protection, and they're still doing pretty good on health. I mean, even Crossbones is doing pretty well. The damage on this team is great. I really like this team. But again, more for raids and more for not for raids, more for arena and blitz. This team I think could take out a 5-on-5 pretty well, pretty quickly. But the raids, you get some weird scenarios with these guys because you get a lot of waves of opponents. You get some weird waves of opponents. Some guys start with their turns off of cooldowns, some don't. So I hope they respond to the email. Sometimes they respond, sometimes I don't. I hope they respond to this one and can make some changes in the test server just to test out some of these teams a little more. But this team is working very well. Crossbone's a little low on health right now. And 2 enemies left. Not really worth it to use the big detonate, so just using his basic. And nobody to really heal up Crossbones there. And I think we did go through one more battle, maybe 2. I use this team a lot. I did a bunch of nodes, and then I edited a footage so you wouldn't see all the loading times and where the nodes are and everything. But this is a very good team. I'm not sure what else to say about this. I wish I could have tested it in a different mode. There's that big move, but as you can see, damages himself. He's in the red, and you know, there's nothing that he could really do except for taunting. He'll recover a little bit of health, but yeah, I'd say this is more of a 5-on-5 team that would do some really good damage. You know, you got a lot of good things here. This team has some good synergy for some of these early nodes on the raid, and then some of these teams that you would fight in the. And this is probably the battle that they start losing it, or maybe the next one. I don't remember how many I played through. I did get a bunch of footage with this team. My intent was to do 3 teams, so do one of each raid. What's showing up right now in the test server is 2 different Thanos raids, and then one for the Ultimate. So my intent was to show one team through each, but I take this one through it, and then I do a few arena battles, and then I look at some other teams on some of these harder nodes. I take a bunch of teams in to fight Thanos, and just nothing really does as well as that Nick Fury with the shield. That, in my opinion, is the strongest team in the game right now. I have not seen it in the arena on the test server, so I have not been able to fight that team. I know Casino did a video about that and had a team that actually beat it, but I have not even faced the team. For some reason, we are in different arena shards on the test server. Maybe that has something to do with iOS and Android. Now, there goes Black Widow. This is kind of the beginning of the end of this team. Of course, if I healed everybody up before the battle, would be a lot better, but I wanted to see how far this team could go, and we did how many battles? We got through a bunch of the nodes. Just some nice damage from this team. I think... yeah, I don't know if this is the best mode for them, but strong team. Very well designed by whoever this. Now, when I was doing the live stream last night, I was writing down the teams. I was not writing down who suggested what team. So if this is your team, or any of these teams are your teams, I apologize for not writing down who suggested what as well. I will definitely do that next time. Give you guys a shout out on there. Make sure you guys link down below if there's any teams that you guys want to see on the test server. Just keep in mind that these are probably going to be raid teams unless I get notification that they can switch around a few things so we can test them in arena or blitz. But it won't be a 5-on-5 battle, so probably going to need to have some protection there. I really wanted to test out a full brawler team, a hero brawler team, and there goes. They're not. All right, so this is arena. Let me pause this right here. A lot of people on the test server, on the live stream last night, wanted me to use Scientist Supreme, and I put her in a team. This is an arena team. I saw Ultimus on there, and I wanted to fight them. This team looked interesting. I had no idea how it would work. So here we go with the battle. Now, as you'll probably see, I don't use the skill for Scientist Supreme that she debuffs the whole team. I just think that that skill is odd. It lasts for way too long. This is a nice skill actually from Scarlet Witch where she extends the ability, or supposed to extend the ability block. I'm not sure if she did that. I can't tell from the footage on this if it extends. It looks like Iron Man's got extended. It looks like Crossbones got extended as well because it's still there. And we got a couple blinds on Ultimus. Very strong shell. Probably should have saved it though, because there's a lot more debuffs that this team puts on people. So probably best to use it on turn 2 with her. Now, if you get all the debuffs on your team with Scientist Supreme and manage to flip them or get them onto the other team, it would be very, very strong. But yeah, I don't use the ultimate skill. And one of the big problems is the ultimate skill is on a 3-turn cooldown, and then her special skill where she flips everything is on a 5-turn cooldown. So it just does not match up to make her very viable. But yeah, it does well in the in the arena battle. Does well enough. I just don't use the ultimate skill from Scientist Supreme. What else is there? I'm going after... Who do I go after at this point? I don't remember. But going after... Looks like I'm going after Captain America right now. Going after Iron Man. I mean, there's so many debuffs on the other team. From Mordo, Scarlet Witch extending them, Vision. Scientist Supreme could do some random effects with her basic, so she's not totally useless. So, I mean, if you just use her basic and her special, I think she's a little better than when you use her ultimate. Right now, her ultimate just does so much damage to your team, slows them, potentially slows them, potentially giving everybody defense down. Just not a good skill. But this team works pretty well in the arena, and I think the power levels were pretty even. So I think the main thing for this team is all of their debuffs that they're able to do. Now, we got another arena battle. I like this team. A lot of energy to go around. I don't place them right in this arena. I just was looking at the team, and I think it is more beneficial to have Thanos right here where the Rocket is. Have Rocket on the side, Star-Lord on one of the ends to give double energy to maybe Rocket or maybe Korath, and then have Jessica Jones at the other end. So I take this same team through the raids. This team does very well in the arena. I think they could have done better if I placed them better, just to make use of the energy that is given from Star-Lord and the energy that is given from Thanos. But as you can see, this team does this pretty well and beats this. This actually got me the #1 spot in the test server, which is unfortunate because unless somebody beats me, I can't play any more arena. So yeah, hopefully they can make that switch, drop me down in the rankings on the test server so that I can move up again. And hopefully they could add some dummy accounts in there as well with some teams like the Shield team, with some of these tougher teams that I want to try to go up against. Because I do want to test some teams against certain teams. I do want to test out that Nick Fury and Shield team. I just don't see it on my arena server in the test server. It's on my main account, though. I see a bunch of that on my main account in the real server. But I just, you know, like I said, I don't think there's enough people on there to give a lot of things. And then Casino's on a different server in the test server, Mobile Gamers on a different server, and I'm not sure how they structure all that in there. But you know, this team is doing really well. Even with my bad placement of this team, I think this team is a very solid team. Just breezing through these guys, and power level wise, it was very similar. You know, this was a maxed out team as well, I believe, that I was facing, but yeah, you can see they still do well. Good team. I like these guys. Jessica Jones also giving energy. I forgot about that. All right, so now this is that same team. I placed them a little better. I like Rocket in between Star-Lord and Thanos. I like Korath right here, and then Jessica Jones gives energy to anybody with her special skill. So let's take a look at this team. This is on the Thanos raid that I was doing, continuation of the last battle, and they do pretty well in this arena as well. Just looking pretty good. Again, not a lot of survivability for the raids, though. I don't know if this is the best team for the raids, but definitely very viable for arena. Definitely very viable for blitz as well. Just a lot of damage, a lot of energy going around. They just, you know, you take damage in the raids, and you need a lot of survivability. Thanos tanks okay. But when that taunt goes down, or anybody else takes damage, not doing a whole bunch. Now, that AoE that he does some pretty good drain and restores a bunch of his health, but still not back to full health. He still has that protection up, and there's just wave after wave after wave of enemies. It's a good team. I like this team. I think it's another smart team that was built, and yeah, it's just I don't think it's the best team for the raids. I think as of right now, if you guys want to see the teams, I will play them, but it will be played through the raids. And, you know, the way the raids are, like I said, early nodes, a little too easy, and the hard nodes, you're going to need a bunch of teams to build it, to pass that boss nodes. Thanos is very, very tough on in his raid, that last one. I mean, I don't know if there's one single team that could solo that node. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. I haven't soloed it yet, but I maybe. I mean, even that shield team, I used them on auto and had to play through it 3 times and revive them a few times just to get through that. I think if I played with them manually, I might be able to beat that, possibly. I know on auto, they killed Thanos. They got through that first wave of enemies. All right, so this is the next team. Same team. Skipped over to that Gamora stage. I think I forgot to record it, but this is that boss mode, the boss node right now. 26 enemies. So even if you do manage to survive, there's just not a lot of time to beat all of these guys, just because look at all their health. Even Gamora has a lot of health. Very, very hard to kill. I'm trying to work on her. I don't know if this is the best strategy, but it's just this is a tough team. I take a few teams through this boss node, and I don't know if that's the best thing that I could have done. I'm still working on Gamora. I want to get her out. I think she's the main damage dealer. Obviously, Thanos is one of the tougher bosses here. But I don't go after him right away just because he has so much energy. I'd rather take out some of these weaker characters just to make it a better odd situation that I could get to. And Rocket, another character that I want to take out because he is a damage dealer. Oh, there goes my Thanos. And Rocket's still doing some work there. Got rid of Gamora, got rid of their Rocket. And just it comes down to survivability. There's no tank except for Thanos. There's no healer. There's no way to keep these guys alive. I think that's why the shield team does very well. All right, so here is the next team. We got Vision, Scarlet Witch, Mordo applying a lot of debuffs. We got Captain America here for a little more survivability. Yondu just does a bunch of things. And I think this is another good team for the raids. I don't know if it's a meta team. This team works all right. You're relying on a lot of debuffs and keeping those debuffs on with this 3 of Mordo, Scarlet Witch, and Vision. And I think it'll work pretty well, but in this raid, on this stage, not very well. I have to pause this here because Yondu dies so early. Nebula takes him out easily. Actually, not Nebula. Thanos takes him out easily. Scarlet Witch is almost dead. This is just not a good team to go up against this Thanos boss. I still think that a team with a lot of survivability will be the best on this boss stage. And, you know, the way it works on there, I can start a raid, but it takes 24 hours to be able to start the next one. And I got 2 more that I can start. But, yeah, this team dies really fast. I mean, even Captain America maxed out does not survive very long against this Thanos boss. If you look, we still have 21 enemies remaining out of the first 26. So it really needs a lot of survival. Okay, so this is the next team. This is the tech team. Everybody starts with defense up. Very good team in the arena and blitz again. But as far as raids, they could survive a little bit on that first turn because everybody gets defense up because of Vision. But that's about it. Now, I forgot to record one battle, so we're down to 10. I used this same team and brought it down to 10, so they actually worked pretty well against the Thanos, but they weren't able to take it out in the time. So this is the second battle that I was using them, and I did it as 2 times because I forgot to record. But this is a very good tech team, very good for Arena. Let's take them through these raids though, and again, not a lot of damage from these guys because this team that we're going up against is just so strong. Not a lot that they could do. Again, this is another team good for Arena, good for Blitz, not so good for the raids. And hopefully that will change that. I could test out these teams in some of these other game modes. I really want to test them out in the 5 versus 5 game modes because 2 of the more important game modes, Arena for your power cores and Blitz just because that's where you get a lot of stuff, are based on 5-on-5. And for me, Blitz has been the main game mode for a while. But as far as the raids, this team just does not have the survivability to do too much. I don't think I actually kill anybody on this stage, if I'm mistaken. Yeah. And I don't know if I could get the detonate off. And that was footage from the test server back on my main account now. And I'd say it's a little disappointing just because all I could do is test it in the raids right now. So if it's not a huge raid team, not going to do a lot of damage on some of the harder nodes, and some of the easier nodes are just a little too easy. So I'm probably going to go into the Ultimus raids. I think that's a little more viable for some of these other teams and see how they do during my next video. So make sure that you guys leave some team suggestions down below. I'm probably going to choose a few of the teams and do like a compilation video like this next time. So yeah, any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. Make sure you check out BlueStacks. Make sure you check out TeePublic for some merch. And subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and join the notification squad. I also have my professionally strong channel if any of you are interested in getting in shape. Don't have a lot of videos on there right now. It's a lot about mindset. So I'll put a link to that in the description down below. I will see you guys next time. I have one question for you though. What you gonna do, brother, when Valley Flame and all the Maniacs come down on you, dude? Valley Flame, out.